The most powerful sorcerer in the whole of Eternia. Really? Orko? Hello and welcome to HydraCollectables, where we let our geek flag fly. My name's Luke and I'm your host, and today we're going to discuss how Orko might not just be a simple comic relief character from the Heman franchise. No, this guy might be the most important character of all. Before we get started, I'd like to encourage you to hit that subscribe button. We put out geeky content every week, and if you'd like to be ahead of the curve, you can also hit the bell icon. Orko is a fictional character from the Masters of the Universe franchise. He was not part of the original toy collection upon which the show was based, however upon his creation within said show, the toy figure was soon released. Originally the character was named Gorpo, however this was soon changed to Orko, the reason being that it was easier to flip the animation cells from left to right with the O on his chest, rather than a G. Orko is a powerful being from another dimension known as Trolla, making his species type Trollan, and this is where the power sword that turns Prince Adam into He-Man was forged. Trollans are often depicted wearing red robes, although this colour can change due to the hierarchy within their society. As well as this, their faces are often hidden from view. You see, in Trollan society, showing one's face is a very intimate act, much like the way that humans would kiss, and so therefore, much like with other characters, like in The Mandalorian for example, this is just the way of their people. There are of course several production drawings showing Orko without his hat and scarf, and from these we can see that he resembles a little blue elf or troll. Again, going back to Mandalorian references, he kind of resembles a baby Yoda. So let's take a minute to talk about the coincidence of Orko being on Eternia and in leagues with Prince Adam. Orko supposedly came to Eternia after being accidentally teleported by a cosmic storm. Shortly thereafter, Orko would stumble upon a young Prince Adam and a baby cub Cringer, saving them from a tar swamp. This heroic act put Orko in good favour with the king and queen, and Orko was given residence within the royal castle. Throughout the original Filmation series, Orko is often seen playing the role of the court jester for the king and queen, using limited magic to entertain, which more often than not goes wrong. However, all of this is merely an act, for Orko is truly a powerful sorcerer. This pretense is evident when Orko is out of sight of his friends. Orko battles Skeletor, and with no one watching, he unleashes his true power, kicking Skeletor's ass. This reveal indicates at Orko's larger purpose on Eternia, and heavily implies that he was sent there by his fellow Trollans in order to protect the sword which they created. After all, if you were the creators of such a powerful item, would you not send your most powerful and gifted person to go along and protect it? So throughout the Masters of the Universe franchise, whether it be from the original series or the other series that followed, or whether it just be through the toys, we've actually been introduced to other Trollan types. These include, but are not limited to, Driel, who is a female Trollan and a love interest to Orko, Uncle Montauk, which, as you can guess, is Orko's uncle, or at least someone who he favours, someone who he looks up to. Montauk is actually a very powerful sorcerer himself. And then lastly we have the Unnamed One. And this unnamed one is kind of like the Emperor in Star Wars. He's the guy working in the shadows, pulling all the strings, he's basically out for world domination. So as well as these three Trollans that I've just mentioned, I'd also like to point you in the direction of some She-Ra characters that kind of resemble these Trollans too. The first of course being Madame Razz. Now when you actually look at Madame Razz's original design, you can see why we might think that she is of Trollan descent. She has a similar skin tone, the red clothing, and of course her eyes and face are kind of partially hidden from view. And finally, of course, we have Shadow Weaver. Now, of course, Shadow Weaver is not a Trollan. She's not a tiny little troll or elf, and we actually know from her backstory that she was once a mortal, she was once human. However, at least in character design, she certainly ticks these boxes of a Trollan. After all, she has a slightly different skin tone to everyone else, and she wears the red robes and also keeps her face hidden from view. So yeah, if we take a look at the figures here side by side, you can see that the 2000X Orko does look awfully similar to the Classics line of Shadow Weaver. So yeah, at least in design we can see, or at least theorise, that these two came from the same place, or at least study the same forms of magic. Throughout the series, Orko has proven himself to be a good, loyal and valuable ally to both He-Man and Eternia. He never fails to help those in need, and More often than not, most of these heroes actually find themselves in his debt for saving their lives with his mystical abilities. And so that is why, in my opinion, I believe Orko to be one of the most powerful beings in the whole of Eternia. So there you have it, that is Orko, one of the most powerful beings in the whole of Eternia, maybe even the multiverse itself. So yeah, let me know whether or not you believed, watching that original Filmation series, that Orko was more than just the comic relief. Did you think that he was purposely sent here to watch over the sword, to guide He-Man on his journey, or did you just see him as the comical clown? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, if you learnt something, please hit that like button. There's no better way to informing YouTube that we are here and that this content is worth viewing. So with that, I'm signing off, and until next time, I'll see you in another life. Take care.